you're coming too.
From Washington State to now sunny California, we've been at it for 5 years. It began with selling our previous boat and taking that money to buy tools and build a shed. We assembled keel pieces, poured the ballast, and raised all 16 frames in the first 6 months.
There's a boat in there.
Now, half a decade later, and at a slower but steady pace, we're in the water. We're Salt and Tar, and this is our life. Like, subscribe, and support if you can.
Okay, so the main chain plates are all bolted and bedded and ready to go. So my goal for today is to get the dead eyes all put together and lashed up and hopefully finish the shrouds for the mainmast. My bucket of bolts and dead eyes and washers and all that good stuff. So hopefully I have everything I need. So I'm gonna just get started on this. Okay, I got these nylon washers, and definitely had some people express concern that we were using these aluminum pieces and that they were just gonna disintegrate with electrolysis and dissimilar metals and everything. And I know aluminum is not very noble at all, but everything it's touching is, this is galvanized, the bolt, so that's galvanizing mainly zinc. Zinc and aluminum are right next to each other and they play well together. And then the washers are just thick nylon. So I got a washer on that side, a washer on this side, and it goes through, so it's sandwiched, so the only thing that's touching that aluminum is the galvanized bolt and the nylon washer. So there shouldn't be any, hopefully shouldn't be any issues with dissimilar metals on the aluminum. And then the dead eye goes in here. And then once I get everything strung up in tension, then I'll do some lashings below the dead eye just to keep everything in check. Also, once I have everything kind of in place and somewhat tensioned up, just so this is where it's going to be and everything, I'm going to pull this nut back off and then hit it with some Loctite and put it back on. And then the whole thing will be gooped up a whole bunch, so that nut will be pretty well like glopped on there, so it shouldn't want to go anywhere. Okay, next one. So before I put these dead eyes on, put the bolts through these, I'm just kind of shooting this full with marine grease just to help prevent any corrosion and rust and deterioration from happening sooner than it would otherwise. Okay, there's those guys all set in place. Now I'm gonna grab the shrouds and the upper dead eyes, run those over and start stringing up some lanyards. That's just kind of the preliminary snug up. I'm gonna get all 4 of them done like that, just kind of crank on them by hand, and then once they're all snugged up, then I'll do the final tightening, at least the final dock tighten, and then everything will really get tightened up once we can take the boat sailing. I'll use the mast climbing rig with a rolling hitch on the lanyard to take up with some mechanical advantage, and then hopefully I can get these cinched pretty tight and then do the finish tuning and stuff once we can start sailing the boat. Okay, got all of 4 of the dead eyes. They're all hand tightened up. So now I can finally take off all the temporary shrouds that we had just supporting the mast. And it's, you know, it's kind of ugly, and it's looked ugly for a while and been really cluttered. So that's pretty exciting. See, we've had these just on some block and tackle with a bunch of spare lines. They're just tied onto the collar at the top of the mast. Got more back there, more lines there. It's just been a mess for a long time, so this will be liberating. Just dropped the bowsprit down, and now I'm gonna get the locations for chain plates for the whisker stays and try to get those at least dry fit tonight. So I'm back to working on the dead eyes and the rigging today. Ow. I decided, let's see. So I decided, since at the top of the dead eye here, the way to finish off the lanyards, they get wrapped around this portion, and since I decided not to serve my shrouds, I didn't want that lanyard to chafe on just the bare cable, so I decided to go ahead and just serve this portion up. When this comes up wrapped around here and made fast, then it won't chafe the lanyard on just the bare steel cable. So a little extra work, another step, and it's going to take most of today to do it, but you know, it'll save us from having to change out our lanyards way sooner than we need to. And so I started with just putting a nice thick coat of the slush mix, pine tar, linseed oil, blah blah blah, just on this whole thing. Then after that, just gonna wrap it with little tar tape. Make sure everything in there's no voids or open spaces, because I do want to make sure it's nice and watertight, because I don't want to promote any corrosion in the shrouds. And since they're galvanized shrouds, as long as you keep, you know, the air and the water off of them, they'll last very, very long time, way longer than stainless. But if you're going to cover them up completely, you want to make sure that they're well covered.
I don't know how well you can see it, but Garrett decided to go ahead and serve this little bit just where the lanyard is going to wrap around the shroud on the top dead eye to prevent chafe. So you got both the ones on the port side done. So we're going to do that on the starboard side.
Not the best example because I didn't quite leave enough room, but...
Oh, you're just ending it on one to start it on the other side?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, this is just to prevent chafe.
Exactly.
And it's doing its purpose.
That's why I'm not being overly concerned about it.
The serving is serving its purpose.
Alright, Ruth, what you doing?
Alright, so this is the last thing underneath the aft deck. And Ellen, my sister, is on board and she's forcing me to get everything out of the boat.
Ellen's a lot more organized than we are.
So she's here to help us organize. She's been watching too many of these Netflix organizing series.
You know, COVID, there's nothing else to do.
Alright.
All this stuff came out from the black hole.
Pushing out.
Keep up the good work. I'll be out here.
Oh, there we go. Okay. That's the last of it. Now to organize it. A few more things to leave the boat. Oh dear. The whole aft deck is just loaded. So, what's the next step, Ellen?
Get it out like a garage sale. Lay it all out, see what's there, decide what stays and what goes, and then what comes back here, what goes in the bunker.
Oh, sounds easy when she says it. Alright, maybe we want to go drive and get that
Tarp?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go scoot over there real quick. Tarp. But yeah, this is the space that we've got to work with.
Yeah, I think probably getting things in buckets and more clear tubs.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty deep there.
Most of this can be consolidated on that top row.
Yeah.
We're a bit behind schedule. Most people do spring cleaning in the spring. But thanks to my sister's insistence, this long overdue task was cleansing. We've been so weighed down by this project, a lot's been swept under the rug, and we needed to dig it out to gain some mental clarity.
I'm working on the rigging again today, and my task for today is basically get everything finished up with the lanyards. I finished serving the tops of all the eyes. So where I've just got like a little temporary stopper knot, I just put like a figure 8 in it just to kind of get the lengths and everything set. I'm gonna pull those off and then splice in Matthew Walker knots, which is the traditional thing to use for dead eyes for the stoppers. So already got this one and this one spliced. I don't know how well you can see that. So I'm gonna start on the port side now. The Matthew Walker, it's a really simple little splice. I'm doing it, this line is 12 strand, and I mean, it's kind of a 3 strand splice, I suppose, or I've only ever done it on 3 strand, but I figured it'll work the same if I just unlay all the 12 strand and just clump it up and do 3 groups of 4 and twist those together and then splice it in just like I would with 3 strand.
I don't know how all of this was still inside the boat, but that is everything from inside and a few random outliers there. So we're gonna attempt to take all of this out and figure out what's still usable and hopefully find some better storage in the boat or in the bunker and get it all sorted.
Does it work?
That's the original, it still works.
Oh my.
Funny how sentimental objects can be. Even a tarred old drill is hard to throw away. It built every frame with us, drilled every floor and keel bolt. It's tried to take fingers and even start a fire. Really makes us appreciate how far we've come and all the help we've received along the way.
Oh no, my hair!
And like I said, I have no idea if this is the proper way to do a Matthew Walker on a 12 strand. This is how you do it with 3 strand, and I'm just turning my 12 strand into 3 strand. But the amount of friction that is in this knot, I really don't think there's an issue doing this. When we're done, obviously I'll cut and burn these later. I remember now that I put it in that tool bag. I probably wouldn't have found it.
So are those giveaway?
No. Crash that. Yeah, but it is just one thing, and
No, well, that's gonna happen with a lot of stuff, maybe.
no, that's the only thing.
We had our work cut out for us. But up next, our buddy GJ passes through town and lends us a hand.
The mast holds itself up practically.
Tensioning the rig and securing the engine control box to the deck.
Is it on the deck now?
Not quite.
Push it down more.
Nice tape job right there.
I'm happy with it. Ruth has to edit a lot.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Now I'm gonna get, ow.
I'm deaf. I take after my grandma.
Could you tie a knot in this? It won't come out.
Basically get everything finished up with the lanyards. I finished serving, basically get everything finished up with the lanyards. I finished serving. It does that. When it turns black, if you wanna see it, you just touch it.
Oh, wow.
Don't mind me, I'm just talking to myself.
Yeah, that was a big one. Get that one out of the way.